2 years ago, I was at the lowest point in my life. I was still in London at the time. I was working in a 9 to 5 that I absolutely despised, and they paid me barely enough to scrap a living in the city. On top of that, I was heavily overweight and I was starting to show some clear signs of depression. My life was derailing in front of my very eyes, and I had no idea how to put it back on track. And the very notion of not knowing not just how to fix the problem, but what is the problem to begin with, it scared me to death. So basically, it freaked me out so much that I entered this endless spiral of sad thoughts. Also, when I try to look for distraction, I didn't have the time, the energy, or even the money to go out with the few friends that I had left. And obviously that had even a bigger impact on my mental health, which was at an all-time low. The cherry on top is that exactly in that period is when I turned 30. Now, by no means I felt old, but at the same time 30 is one of those milestones in life where yes, you have to celebrate, but also I think it's worth sitting down and reflect on your life to see what you've achieved so far and what is the direction you want to take with your life. So as I mentioned, my life was pretty much in shambles back then, so I had to start to think of a strategy on how to fix it. So the obvious thing to me is seem to divide my problems into two categories. There's the problems that I could fix and the problems that I couldn't. First of all, I had to convince myself that the problems that I couldn't fix, they were not my responsibility, so I had to at least release myself from the weight of them. You cannot just forget about them, but at least stop stressing out about it. And then focusing and directing all my mental and physical energy on the problems that I could fix. Now, those were mainly my job, the money I was making, my physical shape. So all of this are definitely in my control, and that's why I decided to focus on those first. Now, at the time, I still didn't know that fitness was my life, my career, my goal in life. So I just looked for a job that didn't drain my mental energy, my physical energy, and they paid me enough to not to be rich, but to at least be secure in London, which is no easy task, believe me. So once I was very lucky because I was able to secure a job, and I know a lot of people struggle in today's market, so I was very grateful for that opportunity. But again, it's not what I wanted to do. So for me, I'd rather giving up on some money and be happier than doing something that pays me loads of money but makes me absolutely miserable. Anyway, that part of my life was sorted. So I had to move on to the next thing. Now I finally had the time, the money to dedicate myself to the next thing on the menu, which was to fix my physical health. So obviously I started looking around for gyms, and when the closest one was Gold's. So I thought to myself, you know what? What better, this seems like a sign, what better gym to start than the gym. So channel my inner Arnold, dusted off my duffel bag, and I started working on this very important goal. So money wise, I was okay. I started working on my physique. So now the next thing was to fix my lifestyle in general and to find my purpose in life. Now about my lifestyle, since I've done it in the past, I didn't have any issue getting started in the gym, except for the first few weeks where my body felt like a wreck. But then I went back to a healthy nutrition. I cleaned up my diet. They also had a big impact on my mental health. And yeah, started losing some weight and getting more confident in the gym. The moment I started to see myself leaner and with more muscle, that is the beginning of the end in a way, because you know that you've locked in and you've changed your life forever, but at the same time is the day you're gonna feel like you're always small or not lean enough and so on. So I became so passionate about it that I started to literally not skip a single workout. I would go 4 to 5 times a week, and I felt the desire to go even when I was supposed to be off the gym. So I remember those days, after work, when I'd woken up at 5 a.m. and, I had the worst shift ever because of people and things to do. And then I would go home at like 6 p.m. I was exhausted, but still, like, maybe outside it was raining and cold and gray and depressing. But I was like, you know what? I don't care. I need to go to the gym. So I applied this sort of like self-assignment, where the gym was not just something that I enjoyed, but also a duty, and it was part of my life. So I had to do it no matter what. And that kind of resilience started building sort of like not just healthy habits that I applied in everyday life, but also like sort of like mental fortitude, where if I could go to the gym when I wanted it the least, then that's it. I could do anything I wanted, because then I knew that I had the mental strength of saying, I don't like doing this, but I know I have to do it in order to get what I want. So yeah, I started going to the gym with this kind of attitude, and it forever changed like the way I see the gym, because I always thought that I didn't like the gym, and that's why I quit all the time, because I found it boring and repetitive. But I basically did it with the wrong mindset and also with the wrong goal, because first of all, like, I was like not knowing exactly what I was doing. So like that alone like makes the gym frustrating, because you work hard but then you don't see results. But then at the same time, I was doing it just for a vanity thing, which is, I don't think is necessarily bad, because having a great physique is obviously on top of my list. I'd be lying if I said the opposite. But at the same time, it is for the main goal, like the long-term goal has to be longevity. It has to be improving your lifestyle. It has to be improving your mobility, flexibility, range of motion, whatever, like living a stronger, better, healthier life. Once you make the switch in your mind, you're gonna, stick with the gym forever and ever. So it started very well, and then an incredible thing happened. So one evening, I was training by myself, like most times, and then a guy approached me in the gym. Like I didn't even know the guy's name, but he asked me to show him how to do an exercise. And it's ironic because there were like PTs in the gym at the time. So I'm like, why is he asking me? And then without even realizing it, I spent at least like 5 minutes like showing this guy how to do that exercise with every single variation, every single cable attachment, what part of the muscle he hits, how to maximize gains and stuff like that. And then the guy was very, very thankful. He went back to his exercise, and obviously he started doing it wrong again the moment I diverted my attention from him. But the point is that I started thinking about it, and how good it made me feel. And I was like, wow, like not just I'm good at this, but I think I actually like it. Like I like the idea of being not necessarily an inspiration, but at least a guide or a mentor to people. And the same way I worked on myself for my journey, like help other people work on their health and fitness journey. And yeah, I think in a way was a blessing, because again, like it was the beginning of the new chapter. At the same time, I know exactly what I had to do, and it was not easy, because there was in a way like the beginning of my lonely chapter. And if you've ever watched like anything from Chris Williamson, Modern Wisdom, like you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I know now that I found out that that's what I wanted to do, I had to take some time off, some time to spend by myself, to work on that, because obviously I was 30, so I had at least a decade and a half to, I don't know, like to catch up compared to other people. So I got my degree into personal training and fitness, whatever, like relatively quickly. It took me about 6 months. And yeah, then I started working in gyms. But all this period where I was studying, I was doing my exams, I was doing my practical assignments, I basically isolated myself completely. And I think it was needed, because I needed to explore, I guess, this new dimension of myself. And so basically from one question of a random person, I managed to find out what's my purpose, like what is the thing that I love to do the most, which is to basically show and share what I love with other people and inspire them to go on a similar journey than mine. So basically, why am I yapping about this? So the reason why I say that fitness saved my life is because before I found my true passion, I feel I was just in a way existing, and the days were just passing, and every day was the same as the other. And I still have sometimes these kind of moments where I'm feeling a bit low, but most days I feel like I have a direction. Like I cannot do everything right now. Like I need to, the growth and success is a very slow track. And, I just need to be consistent with it. I need to analyze what I'm doing, trying to understand what is right, what is wrong. But in the end, like having that direction is something that makes me not just happy, because I think happiness is more like a transitionary emotion, but makes me satisfied with myself, because I'm like, okay, now I finally know what to do, what I want to do. Now the problem is to actually starting the process of realizing those goals. So that's the hard part, but the hardest part of them all is at least understanding what is it that you want to do, because today, like, you have pretty much endless opportunities to do anything. So that kind of like those excess of possibilities, it can be overwhelming at times, because you might develop so many interests and you're like, okay, but what is my true passion? What do I try to turn into into my job and into my the main thing about me? So basically I started this fitness journey, this online coach journey, as a passion project. If one day I manage to be at the level of success that I want, I'd be more than happy with that. But at the same time, what makes me happy is the fact that I finally have a direction to follow. I don't feel lost anymore, and that has a huge impact on my life, on the way I approach people, the way I approach the things that I have to do. My mental health has never been better, and yeah, my physique has never been better, and this also reflects on my mental health. So fitness, in a way, is something that everyone should do, but the way I done it has changed my life, because it turned out to be the thing that I have to do, for the rest of my life. So basically, what I want to say about this is that the magic is not just in finding what you like, but it's also in searching for it. So if you feel lost, start a journey of self-reflection and also exploring everything out there. Do as many experiences as possible. If you cannot find out what you want to do, try to at least find out what you don't like to do and go by elimination. So you go the reverse route, and hopefully one day you'll find your true purpose too. And if not, the magic has to be also in the attempt. So don't give up just yet and keep looking. Now guys, this is for today. I wanted to make this video, which is very personal. It is about fitness, but it's not like about workouts or diet or anything. It's just about how the experience of fitness has changed my approach to life as a whole. And I hope that my experience is gonna help you guys out there. Like if you feel lost or lacking purpose, it's gonna help you find yours too. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe, comment what is your true purpose in life, and I'll see you all in the next one.